Good morning. So welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Ashley and I own and operate a small business over on Etsy called Simply Cozy Treasures, where I kind of focus on everything handmade for all of your cozy hobbies. Today, I'm working through making some magnetic bookmarks, and I'm going to take you guys along on the process for that. They're not terribly difficult. They're a little time consuming because, they require a bit of a design element and you got to pull that stuff together. So in the first clip or so, you guys are going to be over on Canva with me, watching me create these things in real time. I'll probably speed up the clip just because it does take a little bit of time. But then you'll see it go from me printing them to cutting them out on my Cricut to putting the magnets on them and putting them into their finalized form where they're on my magnetic bookmark backer cards. The reason I wanted to do this today is because I feel like the last couple vlogs we've just been doing a lot of crocheting and a lot of sewing, and I just wanted to demonstrate that there's some other things that I typically do in my studio space aside from that, and it's kind of nice sometimes to not be standing on my feet all day, i.e. for sewing or by crocheting. I'm not really standing on my feet, but like I'm using my hands a lot. So it's a lot of repetitive motions and a lot of things that I'm doing. So it's just nice to do some design work on the computer. So I'll quit blabbing at you. But yes, welcome back. Here we go to another week in the studio doing things that I love to do. so what I'll say that we're experiencing right now, and I told you guys that I would give you the unabridged, like, real life version of, like, things that are happening within the studio. I'm having to run a cleaning method on my printer in hopes that it will get these little lines off here. I'm going to try to see if I can show you guys these lines. I don't think you're going to be able to see them, but let me flip you around really quick and just see if I can do that. Oh, hang on, hang on. So I'm gonna give you a zoomed in view here, but do you see this line right there? That's what I'm talking about, but it's also making this like really weird border around the stuff that I'm making. But I'm also talking about, you can barely see it. There's another line that runs straight through all of my bookmarks here, and again right here. So I'm trying to figure out what's happening with this, and I do vaguely remember me having some issues before when I was making my Valentine's Day dragon magnetic bookmarks, and so I ran my Cricut through its calibration again, dialed it all in, got it set perfectly, and I thought I had the issue fixed, but we keep running into these issues where there's just that line running straight through my work. So I'm hoping cleaning these printer heads will work. So I guess stay tuned and we'll continue making magnetic bookmarks if that's truly the answer. All right, so we're still working on the cleaning. I'm hoping that's really gonna fix what it is. But that, I guess that's just part of the process. This is the frustrating the frustrating process that I was alluding to during the first studio vlog, where you guys are gonna watch me get really frustrated. I'm frustrated when the machines that we have paid really good money for don't actually work and do the thing that they're supposed to do. And I've already gone through the numerous, like, hey, make sure your printer settings are of the highest quality. This is a photo printer. It is made for this specific thing. I spent a little bit of extra money on this just to make sure that the stuff that I was producing for my magnetic bookmarks was coming out of an actual photo printer versus just a regular inkjet printer. So I guess let me pick this up and see what's happening with it, and then hopefully in the next clip you guys see us is that we're moving on with the magnetic bookmarks, and this is a super easy fix. But if not, then we'll continue to troubleshoot it and we'll figure it out. We don't need to record this clip, phone. I decided I'm changing out the freaking ink cartridges. Alright guys, so this is day 2 of me trying to figure out what's going on with the printer and the Cricut. So I don't know if I told you guys yesterday in yesterday's clip, but I was doing a couple of the cuts anyway, just to do like a couple things for like the oopsie bin, stuff that I had alluded to in my very first studio vlog, where I was like, I'm gonna make stuff anyway, and then eventually I think at some point I'll do like an oopsie drop for stuff that I make within the shop that's still functional, just has a couple of mistakes. And like I showed you in a previous clip, those lines running through, the products will still be usable. They're just frustrating that they have that line running through it, so I wouldn't sell those at full price, if that makes sense. Anyway, I have just gone through and reset up my entire printer again. I changed a couple of the settings in the actual PC version, not on the actual printer. And I printed it, and we have success. There are no lines on this round of bookmarks, which is exciting, and I'm getting ready to send it through the Cricut to make sure that the Cricut calibration thing that I've done is also working correctly. So fingers crossed that this is actually going to work, and I guess I will show you the product after it prints out of the Cricut, because I already have a clip of this stuff going through the Cricut machine, and I don't think that anybody wants to see things going through the Cricut machine multiple times. If you do, I guess, like, let me know, and I guess I'll continue to show that kind of B-roll footage. But I figured for this video, where I already had that short little clip of it going through the first time, would satisfy that weird itch that we all get, that we just want to see things actually happening and machines working. So without further ado, I'm gonna pop over to my Cricut, press play, and in the next clip I'll show you if we have success or not. Alright guys, we were successful. So I don't really know what all I realistically did. I have employed some new strategies that I've never done in the past, because here's the thing. My magnetic bookmarks, I print them on premium glossy Epson photo paper, which is what my Epson printer recommends. I use Epson branded ink because I think when systems are made for specific things, you shouldn't have third-party things running through that type of system, if that makes sense, or through that type of machine. I think name brand stuff for that name brand machine will pretty much guarantee that it's going to work the way it's supposed to, the way the brand needs it to. Therefore, I can't say the same thing for my Cricut, because my Cricut mats, I don't use the Cricut mats. I use the real-like dupe Cricut mats, and I haven't had any issues with those. One, I get them because they're significantly cheaper, and I run through my light grip mats and my standard mats pretty quickly. So if I can pick up a set of 8 for like, I think $15 versus one Cricut mat, just to have the Cricut name on the mat, like it to me, smart business move. Anyway, random tangent that I just went on. All that to say, we finally have an actual bookmark that printed correctly. And what I was saying with the premium photo paper is I always put a holographic laminate over top, just because I think it gives it just a little bit of extra without actually destroying the design, but it also gives it that little bit of like scratch resistance on top of the photo printer, on photo paper, because it, you know, if you take your nail and run it right over the top of a just a regular printed photo, you have the potential to scratch off that design. So I use a holographic laminate on top of this that gives it a nice rainbow effect without destroying too much of the design. So I do that, like I stated, because it gives that added extra layer of protection over the bookmarks and actually makes them a little more rigid, because certain photo papers are not very thick, because you're kind of thinking like cardstock-esque, but I like these, this photo paper and this laminate specifically, just because it gives that added extra little thing, but it doesn't destroy the design. You can still see very much so that it still says that, you know, lost in the pages. It doesn't destroy the design. You can still see that there's a holographic laminate on here, and it actually makes it look really good. Anyway, this is a really long talky clip, but I also want to put this out here just in case somebody else is running into the same issues that I was with my Cricut Maker 3 is what I actually have. I know they have the Maker 4 out. I don't have the Maker 4 because my Maker's fine. I love this one. Because I use the photo paper and the lamination, because I use lamination, they recommended that I take a highlighter after you place it on the mat. I learned that the hard way. After you place it on the mat and use your brayer to like make sure it's actually stuck to it, go over the registration marks with a highlighter and just go over the top of them, because then when it's going through the machine, the sensor won't have any glare issues come up. This is the very first time that I have ever done this. And I don't know if this is going to be standard practice that I use in the future, because like I said, I never had issues in the past with this photo paper, with this lamination, being able to read my registration marks in my Cricut. But as you can see, like I don't have my blinds open, so I don't have an unintentional glare on my Cricut Maker right now that could potentially make it so that it's a little more difficult or harder for the sensor to actually read the registration marks. But super easy. I mean, not a terribly difficult thing to do. I am, you know, freaking pleased that I was finally able to get this figured out. And I think I'm going to do another test run without lamination on one of my oopsie prints that I already did, because these are now like the actual ones that I'll put magnets and stuff on, and you guys will be a part of that here in a little bit. We'll just put the magnets on and we'll finish these out. And then that will be the whole magnetic bookmark making process. Both the frustrating side and the final like completion. I hope I fix this issue so that I don't have this problem in the future. So I'm going to try this. I'm not going to record that clip for you guys, but I'll probably pop back on before we start doing the final like wrap up for these magnetic bookmarks, folding them, putting the magnets on them, and then we'll see if I actually need to use this on unlaminated photo paper. I don't think so. I'm gonna go without it this time. I think I've already said that. I don't freaking know anymore. My brain is all over the place because I was so freaking frustrated. I've been trying to figure this out this morning. It is now 8:45, and I've been up here since 8:45, trying to figure this piece out. So my brain's fried because I'm thinking of all the things and I wanted to tell you everything. So if this is a really long chatty clip, I apologize, but figured it out. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna do the clipping of the oopsie one, and then we'll come back and I'll let you know. That's what we're doing. Oh my gosh. So I realized too late, and I'm gonna, like, you can definitely tell that I've been freaking messing with my hair today. I can only laugh at this point because, like, oh my gosh, I've just done like a big dumb thing. I thought that the ones that I'd printed yesterday on my from Design Studio through my printer, the ones that were having the issues, that I could just send them through my Cricut with the same print settings to cut them out. I can't, because those ones were laid out differently than what is currently on the sheet. So might be able to see this. I have no freaking clue, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway because we can all just laugh at this. What a week it's been for this. Okay, do you see those registration lines? Look where it cut them. Like, get out of town. I can't. Oh my gosh. You know what this means? This just means it's time for some lunch. Time to walk away from this project for a little while and, like, just reset, refocus, and just be happy that I got at least the one set figured out today. But, like, holy cow. Why? Alright, I'll see you in another clip. Bye. Guys, good morning. So I misspoke yesterday. That's what we'll call it. When I said I was gonna finish out these magnetic bookmarks yesterday, we had so many issues, so many things happening that I just did not have the energy after I filmed that last clip where I said I'll just see you in a new clip. I think it's in this one. I'm not sure. I was just so defeated. Anyway, so came back today, and the clip you just saw is me finally putting these magnetic bookmarks together. But as you saw, we ran into a little issue also. So the magnets that I do use are these round magnets by Mr. Penn. I like them. I think they're great. I would say that if you do make magnetic bookmarks in the future for yourself, just make sure that, as you saw what I was doing, is you just flip over whatever magnet you're going for and just attach it to one of these, to its partner essentially, so that you can make sure that that magnetic whatever the word is, to make sure the magnets hold together really well, that they don't pop apart, because you have very thick paper with these, and naturally they already want to pop open. So realistically, it's like you're trying to find the strongest connection between the two magnets that you have in order to make sure that that polarity actually makes sense. You don't want them pulsing against each other. So there was one magnetic bookmark that you saw, and that's why I wait a little bit before I really push them on there so that the adhesive on the back adheres to the back of the photo paper. The reason I wait before I push that down, just in case for some reason that magnet all of a sudden decides, hey, that's not my match. So I can flip them out easily. And then what you want is a solid, like actual solid, and then an audible click for the magnets. You want it to be strong like that, one, because sometimes people put 2, 3, 4 pages in between. They don't just do one page. I obviously recommend one page because then you're ensuring that the magnets is going to sit there, but you just want to know that your magnets are actually going to hold the bookmarks together. Anyway, I'm really happy that we finally finished our magnetic bookmarks. This normally doesn't take this long. This has been kind of like an anomaly and out of the blue kind of a thing that we've had to work through this week for this. I truly thought that this was going to be an easy little project for me to show you guys so that you wouldn't get frustrated yourselves if you're going to try to replicate. And I hope it goes better if you do decide to replicate whatever you're doing or making these magnetic bookmarks yourself. But just know, the simplest things, I thought it was going to be simple. It was not. It has been a trial and error type of week, and I've been very frustrated, and I think it's come across a couple in the clips that you guys have seen, which is fine. I told you guys that I would not hold back in terms of like certain frustration things, but even I was hitting my point of frustration where I was just like, you know what? This isn't even worth me recording anymore because I can't even convey to you what I'm trying to do because the thing just isn't working. And realistically, I was fuming at that point because I do try really hard to make sure that my stuff is going to work before I turn the camera on. But I guess that's life, right? We just got to roll with it, and we rolled with it. And we have a set of 4 new magnetic bookmarks that I think are really great, and I really do love the way that they've come out. And I am excited to take some product photos and things to get these uploaded onto the Etsy site so that if you saw a design that you absolutely loved and you want to pick up, you can. I don't like holding on to things just for the sake of holding on to them. I do have a stack of stuff that I do need to get photographed and put together, like last week's vlog. The book sleeves that we managed to finish, I still have not photographed those, made the Etsy listing for those yet. I'll get there. Again, I'm just one person, and I have to intentionally pick and choose the things that I'm able to work on right now, just because, limited time to do things. So, real world wise. Okay, I've blabbed long enough. I'm going to turn the clip off. Not sure what else we're going to do aside from probably put these things. I'll probably do a clip of me setting up my stuff for product photos because the sun is actually shining today, and I think that natural light coming in will make these bookmarks look really nice. And the product photos that I need to take for everything else will look really nice. But otherwise, that clip it'll just be you seeing the photo studio, I guess, set up in a way, because I realized I can't record me taking product photos because I record on my phone is realistically what it comes down to. So I'm really constrained to that. So I'll try to make a clip of me showing you like what I use for my product photos. It's very simple, very easy. I find that if you have stuff that takes you literally 3 to 5 seconds to set up and not make it a cumbersome process, you are more likely to keep utilizing that sort of process. So that's what I kind of treat. What I try to keep with is make the process as simple as possible so that you'll continue to do it. And I know that product photos are really important for Etsy, but you don't want it to be too crowded or too loud. You want to show off your product. So I'm not doing anything flashy. I'm not doing anything crazy. I have a very neutral palette. It goes with every single color of things that I put up, and it's just how I do it. Alright guys, I got everything set up for the photos, so I'm going to show you just like the setup. Obviously the sunlight's coming in now, I opened up my blinds, but this is generally what I do. I have these two boards. One has like this faux marble on the back and that's a gray background, and then I picked up this neutral placemat off Amazon, and I just put it down. Just gives it a little bit of texture in the background of my photos, but doesn't take away from the things that I'm photographing. So I like that a lot. So what I'm gonna do is shoot these photos and then we'll go from there. All right guys, I wanted to say thank you so much for watching. This was a very chaotic week that we had to work through some machine issues and things, but we got there in the end, and we got some product photos done, and the sunlight is great, and honestly we get to create things on a daily basis, so that's exciting. So if you've made it all the way to the very end, yes, you are the very best. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. Please don't forget to like and comment down below if you feel so inclined to subscribe to continue on this journey of chaos with me. By all means, please do so. But until then, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you next week. Bye!